I'm Amy from Doodle Dog Designs.
Today I'm going to show you how to transfer an image from your printer to fabric using freezer paper. Let's get started. I found these towels at the Family Dollar. I thought it would be a fun project to add a spring picture to them. The first thing I did when I brought them home is ran them through the washer and dryer to make sure that they're pre-shrunk. Then I pressed them, and they are a fairly thin towel. They're probably not the best towels for daily use, but I think they will be fine for this project. I just want to put something fun and springy on them and just use it as a decorative accent. I'm going to print the design onto freezer paper and then transfer it to the towel. So to do that, I'm going to take a piece and cut it to the same size as my printer paper. So I want it to be an 8.5 by 11 piece. So now I have a piece of the freezer paper that's 8.5 inches by 11 inches, which is the same size as my regular printer paper. And when I print, I'm going to print on the shiny side. Notice there's kind of a shiny, waxy side and a more papery side to the paper. And I'm going to print it on the shiny side. I found some graphics that I like on the Graphics Fairy website. I am going to do one that has some color to it. I'm going to do this bee, and then I'm going to do one all in black and white, this beehive, to see how each type of picture works. So I'll start with bee. I'm just going to copy the image, and then I'm going to paste it into a word processor document, and then I'm going to make it the size that I want it to be. The picture will end up reversed when it ends up on your towel, so if it has any words or if it matters which direction things are, you need to reverse it before it's printed. This bee, it's not going to matter, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to print it on regular paper first so I can make sure I figure out my positioning, and then I will print it onto the freezer paper. And then I'll do the same thing with the beehive. I'm going to print that also. And again, there's no wording, so it doesn't matter if it's reversed on the towel. I laid my towel down on a plastic tablecloth in case the ink bleeds through, so I don't have to worry about ruining anything. And I have this printed on just regular paper, and I'm just going to do it this way for placement so I can decide where I want it. I want to center it on the towel, so I'm just going to measure and make sure that it's centered pretty well. So I could come over just a little bit. And then I'm going to make marks with a blue washout pencil. And I'm just going to mark where the top corner of my sheet should be. And this will just help guide me when I have the ink on the paper, because you don't want to be trying to figure it out when you have the ink on the freezer paper, because it will smear easily. You want to have a spoon of some kind at the ready for this next step. I'm going to print the image onto the freezer paper, and again I'm going to print it onto the waxy side of the freezer paper. And then I'm going to quickly bring it and place it upside down in my spot. The first time I tried to print the beehive, my paper got all jammed up in the printer and it was a complete mess. I ended up having to tape my freezer paper to just a piece of regular printer paper, and I really had to tape it quite a bit along the bottom edge to get it to feed through there properly. Okay, I have the bee printed now on the waxy side of the freezer paper, and I'm going to flip it over and line it up. And then I'm going to use the spoon to transfer the ink onto the towel. I don't imagine this would launder very well. I'm just going to use this as a decoration and not use it for drying dishes, so I don't have to worry about washing it very often. And there's the bee. That was a wash up pencil that I used, so I'm going to get that part wet to get those blue spots to go away. And I'm going to set this aside to dry. Use the same process again, and I'm going to measure to make sure that I have the image centered. That looks like that's pretty good. Then again, I'm going to mark where I want the paper to go. And then I will go print this image on the freezer paper. So now I'm just going to turn it over. Notice the ink on there looks very wet. And I'm just going to line up my marks that I made earlier. And press down. This brand of flour sack towels seem to wrinkle very easily. It didn't seem to matter how often I pressed them, they always look wrinkled. It doesn't produce a real dark look, but I like an antique faded look anyway. That's what I was going for. I decided it needed a little bit more color, so I added some stripes on the bottom using some frog tape and fabric medium and acrylic craft paint. The last step is to press it, to heat set it. I'm going to put a pressing cloth down underneath. I don't want it to bleed onto my ironing board cover. And I'm going to put a pressing cloth on top also, because I don't want anything getting on my iron. And the instructions for the fabric medium that I used also said to heat set it, so I will be doing that. You should be sure to follow the instructions with any fabric medium that you used if you also paint stripes.
I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe below. I'll see you next time. Bye.